Hello everyone, my name is Franco Pucci and I am the technical consultant for the STS Association. I have been involved in prepayment metering for over 25 years. Welcome to the STSA training videos where we will explore all aspects of the STS and the STS standard. I hope you find these videos helpful. In this video we will look at key loading. So what is key loading? Key loading is essentially transferring keys from the keyload file into the security module. You may refer to the STS 600-8-6 API specification document if you want more details on this. So in order to do the key loading, we need to look at the vkload response file that you receive from the key management center after you've sent it a vkload request file. Remember this is the vkload response file obtained from the KMC, and it has all sorts of stuff in it, but the bits we are interested in are the green bits. We are trying to load each of the keys. Now this example only shows one key, but there could be 10, there could be 50, there could be 100 of these key 1 records. Each of these keys need to be put into the security module. So let's examine the key loading process. Now the key loading process is also contained in the STS 600-8-6 document, so if you want to have a look at it, please go ahead and download a copy from the STS website. So the first thing we need to do is we need to load the vkload load response into the security module, and that is an smkr command. References to all these commands, as I said, you can find in the STS 600-8-6 API document. Once you load the vkload response, the security module goes into key loading mode. In other words, it's now waiting for key loading to take place. All keys that are currently in the security module are deleted. Now this is quite important. It will not keep any of the old keys. The first thing it does is it deletes all the keys that are currently in there. And I'll explain why that happens later. Now you load all the keys individually and separately into the security module using the smkl command. So each key is loaded in turn. Okay. Then once you've done that, you execute the key loading finished command, which is an smkf command. This tells the security module that you've completed your key loading process. Now you can actually list all the security module key registers using the smkq, and the reason for that is you don't know which registers that the keys have gone into. Once you do this, it gives you a list of all the registers. It won't tell you which key is in which register, but at least it tells you which registers have been used. Now you need to query each of the registers to see the attributes of the keys, and for this you use the smga command. Once you've got all of the attributes, you can then put into your point of sale database each supply group code, which vending key register it's in, and which attributes it has. Okay, and that is the process you follow in order to get your point of sale to know where each key is for each supply group code, which register it's in. So remember the key attributes we discussed in another video. Those are the green bits. All of these will be available in the keyload file. Okay, they will also all be available once you query the secure module, once the keys have been loaded, and we'll show you how to do that. So here is a list of all the key attributes. You may not use all of them, or you may want to store all of them, that's up to you, but certain ones, of course, you have to. Okay, so choose the ones you want to keep. For example, the UIT issued until, that tells you when the key needs to be refreshed. Now your point of sale must know this, because maybe 30 days before the expiry you should warn the operator that the key will expire in 30 days and he needs to download another vkload request, obviously. Subclass bitmap as well is a nice one to know, but at the end of the day, look through these and decide which ones you want to store. Okay, remember we said that you need to use the smga and the smkq commands, and those are the ones highlighted in yellow. So let's see an example of these. Okay, so you send it the command smkq and you give it the KMC name. That KMC name comes in the vkload response anyway, so you know what it is. And the response is an smkq, and then it shows you, if you look at there, 00p active. Well, active means that the slot is active and it's ready to be used. And then if you look at the blue section, that blue section, each one of those is a register that has been loaded with a key. So N1 means register number 1, N2 means register number 2. And on this example, it's used from register number 1 to register number 22. So all of those are used. But you don't know which key is in which register. And for that, you need to now issue the smga command. But the smga is specific to a particular register. In this case, I've issued the command smga N13. In other words, we want to know what are the key attributes for vending key register 13. The answer comes back, and there it is. You've got your activation date, you've got your base date, you've got the cluster, you've got any limits that have been set, the DKGA, issued until. All of the attributes we discussed earlier are now contained in there. Now from this, you can then populate the database on your point of sale, and you will know exactly which register, which supply group code is in. Things to note once you're doing key loading. Number one, you cannot re-enter a vkload response that has already been loaded into the security module. It will not allow you to re-enter one. And the reason for that is, if you could do that, then you could get a new vkload response where a key has been disallowed, but you want to reuse that key, although you're not allowed to, and you just simply re-enter a previous vkload response and get the key back. Well, this stops that from happening. In conjunction to that, you cannot enter a vkload response that has an older timestamp than the last loaded vkload response for exactly the same reason. So if you have two vkload responses, make sure you enter the oldest one first and then the one you've just received next. If you do them the other way around, it'll only accept one and not the other. The vending key registers are not allocated in the same order as the key records in the keyload file. Okay, and that I've explained already. It puts them in wherever it has space, and then you have to go and query the security module to get the actual position that a particular supply group code is in. You also cannot do a partial key loading process on a vending module. You need to do all the keys. Okay. You can, however, do a partial key loading process on a manufacturing module, and the reason for that is you could have access to 1,000 supply group codes, and they won't fit into a security module. So you can partially load, use them in manufacture, and when you start manufacturing meters for somebody else, you can partially load another set of supply group codes, etc., etc. Please remember to get a key refresh for your module before the keys expire due to the refresh period, and that you can get from the issued until date. Well, this brings us to the end of this part of the video series. I hope you found this video helpful, and I hope you will join us for the rest of the series. Goodbye, and see you again soon.